We have compromised a lot. And if Eskom is not going to be in their senses, they will really be putting us into a serious problem.
No deal. Workers turned down Eskom's wage offer, but talks continue tomorrow. Supersport analyst Ashwin Willemse plans to head to the Equality Court. His lawyer explains why he didn't take part in an inquiry into his studio walkout. This is eNews at 8. I'm Sally Burdett. Good evening. Well, workers at Eskom have rejected a 4.7% wage hike offer, but talks continue and the unions have presented a counter-offer. Meanwhile, the possibility of more load shedding remains. Slindele Masekane reports.
Day 2 of the negotiations saw trade unions responding to Eskom's new offer. The unions made a presentation on how Eskom could improve their balance sheet in order to afford increases. The unions have made a counter-offer but are remaining tight-lipped on what it is. Parties say they've resolved not to negotiate through the media.
We were not just focusing on wages. We have presented a comprehensive feedback to Eskom that basically deals with all Eskom challenges. And what we were grappling with is what must be done to fix Eskom balance sheet.
We have to find resolution sooner than later. We have compromised a lot. And if Eskom is not going to be in their senses, they will really be putting us into a serious problem.
We're looking forward to Eskom's response on our consolidated position tomorrow, and I think tomorrow's outcome will determine exactly where we're going with this thing. But I believe there will be good news.
The ball is now back in Eskom's court. Unions expect a response to their counter-proposal when talks resume for a third and final day set down for this round of negotiations. The cash-strapped power utility has stated that it plans to pay for wage increases by cutting operational expenditure. It says it can take some of that money and pump it into salaries. Eskom says its power system remains constrained, but that it will only implement load shedding when absolutely necessary to do so. Slindele Masekane, Johannesburg.
Supersport commentator Ashwin Willemse could be heading to the Equality Court over his studio walkout. Today, his lawyer explained why he didn't participate in the inquiry. Yesterday, a report cleared Nick Mallet and Nas Botha of any racism in the incident. But Willemse's lawyer, Nkobizita Mlilo, says there are actually two reports. Hlonium Timkulu spoke to him and has the details.
According to Ashwin Willemse's lawyer, two reports were commissioned into Willemse's walkout during a live broadcast involving Nick Mallet and Nas Botha.
Advocate Vincent Maleka told us that he was going to produce two reports, one for the purposes of the public and the other one that was going to be for the consumption of Supersport. Now we want that report that he gave to Supersport, which is which is clearly now different from the report that he has given to the public.
Mlilo says both the process undertaken and the subsequent report released were flawed, and he's pointed out several inconsistencies.
There was no opportunity to cross-examine any of those people that Advocate Vincent Maleka spoke to. They spoke in silos. They gave him a version of what they think is was appropriate to say. We even suggested to Advocate Vincent Maleka that the appropriate forum to refer the matter was that of the Human Rights Commission. That opportunity was not taken, and they proceeded to conduct the interviews. And now it turns out now they want to refer to the matter to the Human Rights Commission at this belated hour.
In one section of Advocate Maleka's report, the CEOs of Supersport and MultiChoice say Willemse had made it clear that he did not regard that evening's actions as motivated by racism. But in a different section of the same report, Willemse is quoted as saying he saw the events as racially motivated.
That explains why we thought that process of Advocate Vincent Maleka was a fruitless exercise. Ashwin had a meeting with them immediately after the incident. He told them what his version was. They asked him to sign a press statement that said that this issue was not racism. He refused to do so. They continued and went on to issue that statement to say that it was a racist, there was no racism found. They then called him to an inquiry. What is the point of conducting an inquiry when you've already conclusively made up your mind?
Meanwhile, according to Mlilo, Willemse has previously complained to the broadcaster about events he described as racism involving Mallet and Botha. He says it's time SuperSport and corporate South Africa as a whole wake up to naked and subtle racism in the workplace. Hlonim Timkulu, Johannesburg.
To a massive traffic snarl up the N3 linking Johannesburg and Durban has been blocked at Van Rhenen's Pass all day and remains closed this evening. Authorities say there are more than 1,000 trucks blocking the route. It's believed truck drivers are behind the blockade. Previous protests focused on the employment of foreign drivers. Well, to get the very latest, I'm joined on the line now by Con Roo from the N3 toll concession. Good evening, Mr. Roo. Thanks for your time. What is the status right now on the N3? Still closed?
Good evening, Sally. Yes, indeed. The status quo has remained exactly as you've just described it. The road remains closed in both directions to all traffic, and for that reason we are appealing to motorists, be they drivers of light motor vehicles or in particular heavy motor vehicles, to delay their journeys between Gauteng and KwaZulu-Natal if at all possible.
How many kilometres are trucks backed up this evening?
The exact extent of the backlog is not fully known, but it's probably of the order of 10 kilometres in each direction. And that consists mainly of trucks.
And is it because of this issue of employing foreign truckers?
The information that we have to hand is to that effect, that the protest action is related to the employment of foreign nationals as truck drivers in South Africa.
Now, you said motorists should try and avoid this route. If it's backed up 10 k's in each direction, you're simply not going to get through. Any ballpark on when you might be reopening the route?
I think it'd be fair to say that we have confidence in the law enforcement authorities, who have a very strong presence on Van Rhenen's Pass, in being able to resolve the matter. We are hoping indeed that by tomorrow the road may be reopened, but that will depend obviously entirely on events that transpire through the night.
Can I just get some clarity? Are truck drivers literally, have they parked their trucks in the highway and got out and left them there?
That is exactly what sparked the initial blockade. And
they are not yet back in their trucks?
No, the truck drivers, obviously at this moment in time, it's freezing cold on Van Rhenen, and many of the drivers are in their trucks, and in fact we do express concern for truck drivers who are caught up in the backlog because of that cold, and many of them have had no access to refreshments through the day.
Thank you so much. That was Con Roo from the N3 toll concession. That road still closed, may be open tomorrow, 10-kilometre backup on either side. Well, it's World Refugee Day, and we turn our focus now to people displaced by violence and natural disasters. The treatment of refugees in South Africa sometimes falls short of international treaties that we are party to. Lindela Repatriation Centre in Krugersdorp detains illegal immigrants. It's often been the centre of controversy, claims from activists about human rights abuses there. Now, protesters gathered at the centre today to call for change. But Home Affairs Minister Malusi Gigaba believes South Africa has a good international reputation for handling refugees.
The country has a very good reputation in the UN system, particularly within the UN High Commissioner for Refugees, in how it has conducted itself in managing refugees. And we even have been sharing our experiences with other countries within the UNHCR family and the UN family as a whole in the global compact negotiations that are currently taking place, arising from the New York Declaration of 2016. So the country is getting it right. Yes, we have challenges. I hear there have been protests today at the Desmond Tutu Refugee Reception Center and at Lindela. We will pay attention to those, we will hear them out and try to respond to the issues that they are raising with us.
Still ahead on eNews, model in a storm. Shashi Naidu makes a heartfelt apology after a social media botch-up. Families of 5 mine workers who died at Sibanye Stillwater in Western Area each want 2 million rand for the pain they're going through. The workers were remembered at a memorial service today. Their deaths underground bring to 20 the number of workers who've died at the company's various operations since February. The company's CEO, Neil Froneman, faced bereaved families, assuring them everything possible will be done to ensure such incidents do not happen again. Union Solidarity believes the tragedy could have been avoided. The National Union of Mine Workers says it warned the company about this. AMCU, meanwhile, says such tragedies are due to greed. The families of the deceased have explained some of the compensation they want.
We ask the mine as families to pay the salary of the beneficiary. The beneficiary should earn the salary of the deceased for lifetime. Being seated there at home.
A sobering social media lesson for model and businesswoman Shashi Naidu. Don't cut and paste comments unless you understand them. Now, Naidu has been called ignorant, even received death threats since an Instagram post on Saturday in which she defended Israel and slammed Gaza. The Jewish Board of Deputies says it's appalled that she's been targeted for supporting Israel. Well, today Naidu met with pro-Palestinian pressure group BDS. Zikona Chona has the story.
According to Naidu, she received a lot of criticism after posting a picture of herself and South African DJ Black Coffee, who caused controversy earlier this year when he performed in Israel. She says in an attempt to defend Black Coffee, she asked a friend to help her with a response. And without reading it, she posted the response. In it, she accuses Gaza's Hamas government of indoctrinating Palestinian children to hate Jewish people and incentivizing the killing of innocent people. She also accused the media of anti-Israel bias. She admits she was wrong and says her ignorance let her down.
I feel for me this is a humanitarian issue. I've been very disappointed in myself for not knowing and being fully aware of what was happening in Gaza.
Naidu has lost a number of endorsement deals but believes the brands who chose to cut ties with her were justified in doing so. She's now agreed to go on a fact-finding mission to Palestine. BDS says it accepts Naidu's version of events.
She was pretty open with all of this that I've heard. I've made a mistake, and friends, I mean, who of us have not made mistakes?
BDS says the reaction to Naidu's post also shows people's awareness of the plight of the Palestinian people. The group says it's looking forward to hearing from Naidu after her trip and hopes that she will share what she learns with others. Zikona Chona, Johannesburg.
To international news, the United States has withdrawn its membership from the UN Human Rights Council. They're accusing the council of protecting human rights abusers. US Ambassador to the UN, Nikki Haley, is describing the council as a hypocritical and self-serving organization. Now, the exit comes amid heightened criticism of the Trump administration over its immigration policy, which sees children separated from their parents. And in the UK, British Prime Minister Theresa May has slammed that immigration policy. May says the images of caged children separated from their parents are deeply disturbing. The Prime Minister says it will be one of the issues she raises with Trump when he visits the United Kingdom next month. Let's recap your top stories this evening.
Compromised a lot. And if Eskom is not going to be in their senses, they will really be giving us, putting us into a serious problem.
No deal. Workers turned down Eskom's wage offer, but talks continue tomorrow. Supersport analyst Ashwin Villensa plans to head to the Equality Court. His lawyer explains why he didn't take part in an inquiry into his studio walkout. After the break, we've got all your weather details, and then on World Refugee Day, some fun and games for Syrian children who are only accustomed to the sound of bombs.
Welcome to the Weather Center. We are going to see quite a bit of cloud, maintaining light rain and drizzle for a good part of your Wednesday night along the KZN coastal areas and that just an interior. Then as we get into Thursday morning, a southeasterly breeze will be pushing a lot of cloud into the northeastern areas. Otherwise, it will be fine but pretty chilly for the central areas. Then as we go through Thursday, things are going to clear out across the whole country with cooler daytime temperatures forecast over the northeastern sections, a warm one for KwaZulu-Natal and the Eastern Cape as well as northern South Africa. It will be mild for the southwestern sections. Then towards the evening, this cold front will introduce a bit of rain into the southwest coastline and the adjacent interior. Now on Thursday, we are going to stay with cloud-free skies across much of the northern Cape. Daytime temperatures warming up nicely for Upington, Port Moresby and Kimberley, all peaking at around 25 degrees. It's going to be mostly sunny for much of the Western Cape, partly cloudy, however, for the western areas where light rain can be expected in the evening for Cape Town and Langaban. Clear skies are expected across the Eastern Cape. It's going to be chilly in the morning for the central and northern areas, but in the afternoon, mild to warm daytime temperatures are expected for much of the province. Mostly clear skies for KwaZulu-Natal, Durban, warming to 25, a bit warmer for Richards Bay and Ulundi. We are going to see partly cloudy skies for the eastern areas or from Mpumalanga, mostly sunny and mild for the Highveld areas. Partly cloudy skies are also expected for the eastern half of Limpopo, Polokwane, Thohoyandou and Mokopane, all peaking at around 23 degrees. Clear skies continue for the northwest. It's going to be mild for the eastern areas. Rustenburg and Ventersdorp peaking at around 23 degrees. We are also going to see sunny weather across the Free State, a warm 25 for the high in Felcom. Gauteng starts off mostly cloudy, becoming mostly sunny in the afternoon. Pretoria reaching a high of 23 degrees. Now on Friday, we are going to see lots of sunshine across much of South Africa. It will be partly cloudy and dry for Cape Town. Then on Saturday, it's going to be partly cloudy to cloudy for the southwestern areas with rain forecast in Cape Town.
And finally, a thought for the children on World Refugee Day. A day of face painting and cartoon characters dancing in the street might be normal for some, but it's not the case for children in Syria who've lost their homes and grown up during air raids and bombings. A Syrian charity recently held a carnival in Damascus for child survivors of the war. The Jafra Foundation for Relief and Youth Development organized the carnival. Around 600 children aged between 5 and 15 years attended the festivities. They had the chance to play games and watch some exciting entertainment, such as the Chinese dragon dance. Let's recap your top stories.
We have compromised a lot, and if Eskom is not going to be in their senses, they will really be putting us into a serious problem.
Workers turned down Eskom's wage offer, but talks continue tomorrow. Supersport analyst Ashwin Willemse plans to head to the Equality Court. His lawyer explains why he didn't take part in an inquiry into his studio walkout. That's the news. Remember, if you missed any part of this bulletin, you can catch up via eTV's YouTube channel. From me and the team, good night.